saw it too. What are the odds? What are the odds? Hey, Tony P, what are the odds?
Beat a bow. Hello, here we go. That was The Odds. I think that's what we call it, by Greg Klima. My awesome favorite, most favorite theme song of all time. Thank you, Greg, for that. How are you all doing? I hope you are well. This episode might be coming out on Thanksgiving. I have completely lost track. Like, I was at work last week. Oh, well, don't forget, next week, Thanksgiving. What? Like, I got days off work. How do you forget? Who forgets when they have days off of work? Apparently, I do. Because I was like, what? It's Thanksgiving? Huh? What? My parents are visiting. Hey, we're visiting like a couple days. Huh? What? Really? Oh, crap. Is that this week? I swear that's been like my slogan for the past like 2 years. Oh, is that this week? Oh, wait, what? I got to bring presents? It's Christmas? Is that this week? Oh, huh. I'll be darned. And here's the thing. I don't see it getting any better. You know, like a lot of times, for the longest time, like I don't keep up really the day of the week. It's just like, I gotta go to work. Cool. If I have an obligation or something, cool. Okay. I don't dread Mondays. I don't count down to Fridays. You know, man, it's all good. But usually at least I know the holiday. And it's on my calendar. It's on my work calendar. I plan for the week ahead. Oh, look, I got most of the week off. Great. And then cut to right now. Oh, that's this week? Oh. Huh. What? Maybe. Okay. Huh? Wow. I just have no idea. Is it just me? Am I just completely clueless? Are there others out there like me? Speaking of completely clueless, do you just pet random animals when you see them? I know I try to. The only reason I don't is because there's other people around. And, like, they'll be weird about it or say something, or I got to talk to them. But, like, here's an example. If my neighbor, like, I live in an apartment, you know, but if I didn't and I lived somewhere and my neighbor had, like, a cow and the cow came over to the fence, bet money I'm petting the cow. Who wouldn't? Like, how can you not do that? I got some treats or something. I give, you know, whatever cows eat. I don't know what cows eat. Maybe some pizza. Like, hey, here you go, cow. Here's some pizza. Okay, you shouldn't do that. Pizza isn't good for cows, but you get the point, right? Like if there's just some random animal. All right. So example, there's some ducks outside my apartment. A lot of people go and feed them bread. I don't, cause I'm lazy. So I guess this kind of kills the point of my story, but you know, the point was more if the cow came up to you and it was easy. I think I'm overcomplicating this. But most people would go, you know, pet an animal, give it some food or something. But after this next story, I need you to be weary and maybe not do that. Y'all, stuff got real as a court has imposed a restraining order to protect a retired racehorse from the unwanted attention of a grandmother who refused to stop feeding him carrots. Yeah, there's a sentence I never thought I would read. Like, I saw that. I was like, okay, court. Like, I read over a bunch of stories, right? Okay, whatever. A court imposed restraining order to protect retired racehorse. Oh, we got to talk about that. In a ruling rarely, if ever, passed by a British court, the horse was afforded legal protection from overfeeding after prosecutors made the application to magistrates on his behalf. I don't know a lot about the British court system, but I just assume they're all in those weird wigs. Right? And like it's super stuffy and there's people talking about feeding horses. Margaret Porter, 67 years old, from North Allerton Road, Leeming Bar, I don't know what any of that is, thought Nelson, this is Nelson the horse, by the way, Nelson the chestnut gelding was sad looking. So Margaret thought the horse looked sad. She came to the view that he was underfed and began giving him carrots. So she's like, hey, what's up? Here's some carrots. But no. Suzanne Cook, the owner of Nelson, said, hey, don't do that. So what began as a laudable effort in Nelson's interest quickly became a campaign of harassment. And the police were called not once, not twice, but thrice. And they called the RSPCA, which I would imagine is much like our SPCA, Protection Animal Police. Mrs. Porter was arrested and faced court for the second time in her life. The first was in 2005 when she was convicted of assaulting her brother with 3 sticks of rhubarb. Why they got to bring that up, dog, from 20 years ago? Remember that time 20 years ago when you threw some rhubarb at your brother? Dang. York magistrates heard the dispute over Nelson's carrots had become the talk of the village of Scrutton on the edge of the Yorkshire Dales. I swear to God, they make these places up. Like, just, can you come up with, it's like a bit. Can you just come up with the silliest place name you can think of? Village of Scruton. Okay, that I'd get like, okay, hey, I live in the village of Scruton. Okay, enough. Why does it have to be village of Scruton on the edge of the Yorkshire Dales? Are you mixing it up with another village of Scruton? Is there a different Scruton on the inland of Yorkshire Dales? Anyway, I'm sorry. The parish council was asked to intervene in the bitter feud. You know, we're talking Montagues and Capulets over some carrots. Mrs. Porter told the court how she first became involved after passing Nelson's paddock on the edge of the village. She said, I saw him standing outside his stables. I thought he looked sad. It's hard to be mad at that, you know, like, okay, lady, that's nice. I didn't examine the horse, but I noticed him. The fields were frozen at the time and there was snow on the ground. I passed 6 or 7 times a day. I didn't see his owner once. He looked thin, and I began speaking to people about my concern in the hope that someone would take it on board and try to get her to look after the horse properly. Here's where I think she went too far. I'm with her. I'm with her on all that. Like, okay, man, you're a little worried about this horse. That's cool. And then she said, I was getting quite distressed about the situation. Were you really? Seriously? Distressed? I decided to give him a few carrots at the fence. It never occurred to me that anyone else would be bothered about that. I just didn't want him starving to death. Mrs. Porter then continued feeding Nelson, which came to Mrs. Cook's notice when she realized there were dozens of carrot tops lying in the field. She went out there, was a hold up, where all these carrots come from? Nelson. And then Nelson was like, She picked them up in a bucket. She took them to Mrs. Porter, pointing out that there was a sign on the fence saying, don't feed the horse. I just love, y'all, this is the kind of drama I'm in for. I don't like drama. I don't like people arguing, fighting, nothing like that. It's just not that serious. But this, to me, this is hilarious. I would be sitting outside on my porch. Like, oh, she gave him another carrot. Oh, look out. To her dismay, Mrs. Porter took no notice. She continued sneaking carrots to the horse. They added here, she continued to sneak carrots to Nelson, who willingly trotted over to the fence to receive them. He's a damn horse. What else do you think he's going to do? He didn't know. He wasn't caught up in the drama, the politics of the carrot situation. I was going to my horse. I saw Mrs. Porter's car parked up. She was throwing food into the field, and then the horse came over. I opened the car window and said, why are you feeding my horse? You could poison my horse or give it colic or make it ill. This is the greatest part of the whole story. This is why I'm doing it. At that point, so the lady screamed out her car window like, hey, man, quit feeding my horse. And Mrs. Porter said, you can ring the police. I'm not bothered. That's the most, politest, rudest thing ever. You can ring the police. I'm not bothered. So the lady said, I'm tired of this happening, and I'm worried that she may make my horse ill. I don't know what she's giving it. That's fair. And horses aren't cheap, man. You know, even the price doesn't matter, but horses are a big investment. Maybe one carrot, and then I tell you to stop, and then you need to stop. You can't just keep going on. So, yo, there's more to this. So let's see here. To her horror, an RSPC inspector called Mrs. Porter. That's the lady with the carrots. And they said, hey, we're doing a welfare check on the horse. The horse looks great. It used to be a racehorse. It's super healthy. It's fine. The other lady's taking care of it. Quit feeding the horse carrots. Apparently, there was also a thing here where Mrs. Porter was gossiping to the villagers. Man. After hearing both sides of the argument, the magistrates had no choice but to find her guilty. Presiding magistrate Hilary Fairwood said, in the first instance, her conduct could be considered laudable and that she truly believed she was trying to prevent neglect of the horse. However, after the RSPCA stepped in and said, no, we are good, you got to quit feeding the horse. I kind of paraphrased the last bit there. So at the end of the day, the magistrate said she had no choice but to impose a restraining order. At the end of the day, Mrs. Porter said, it all seems too ridiculous to be taken to court for giving a horse a few carrots. But at least I got to have my say. No, you didn't. Now you got a restraining order against a horse. What kind of silly, I don't know. Maybe that's baller in New Hampshire Fire Village by the lakes, but I don't want to be that guy. Now they're all gossiping about you. Look at this chick. That's the chick with the restraining order. She got to stay 5 feet away from the horse.